Okay. This autonomic nervous system is strongly influenced by emotions such as grief, anger, fear, then sexual stimulation, etc. And high blood pressure, stomach ulcers, and some other troubles may arise due to long continued emotional stress. When we are under emotional stress for a long time, it can even result to the ulcers. So this is what they have told regarding the autonomic nervous system, that it is strongly influenced by the emotions. Next we come over to the main topic for today, that is reflexes. And these reflexes are actually involuntary actions. They are not under the control of our will. And the term reflex comes from the Latin word reflux, meaning reflected or directed back. And of course, can you make out where from the impulses are reflected back in reflex? Can anyone tell me from where are these impulses reflected back in case of reflexes? From the spinal cord. I told you that day, in case of reflexes, the message is not carried to the brain, or the impulse goes to the spinal cord and returns back to the organs or the glands to perform action. And there are two types of actions which occur in our body, voluntary and involuntary. Of course, voluntary ones are those which are performed consciously or willingly, while involuntary, they are performed unconsciously. And some of the examples of the voluntary actions they have given, and in the exam also you can be given a number of actions mixed up together, voluntary, involuntary, or natural, we'll do natural reflex, conditioned reflex, all can be mixed up together and given to you, and you will have to sort them out. This type of question does come. So, voluntary action, you wish to watch some program on TV and you switch it on and press the remote for a particular channel. This you do consciously, and such actions are voluntary. Next, you pick up an apple and you eat it. This is also a voluntary action. Then, to know the time, you raise your arm and you look at the watch on your wrist. So this also is a voluntary action. You are sitting here listening to me, voluntary action. Then involuntary actions which occur unconsciously, and some particle falls in your eye, and there is immediate flushing out of your tears, just run out of your eyes to wash out that particle. That is naturally, it occurs unconsciously. So that type of action is involuntary. And when you happen to touch any hot plate, you immediately withdraw your hand away from it. That also is involuntary. And shivering, when it is too cold, sometimes we start shivering unknowingly, unconsciously we start shivering. So that also is involuntary. Then dilation of pupil to look in dark and vice versa. When you come out from outside into a dark room, say you enter a cinema hall and it is dark inside, the show has already started, then the dilation of the pupil occurs automatically. Pupil is the opening of your eye. It dilates. Why it dilates? To let more of the light to enter. So that also is involuntary action. Now here he has given the definition of reflex action. It is automatic, quick, immediate, involuntary action in the body brought about by a stimulus. So any stimulus is there and it brings about a sudden, quick, automatic, involuntary action that is called reflex action. Then we have differences between the reflexes and the voluntary action. There is, though reflexes are also involuntary actions, but slight differences there. These, there is difference between reflexes and voluntary actions. Voluntary actions are consciously done. Involuntary actions or reflexes are unconsciously done. So first one, initiated by some stimulus, touch, pain, pressure, heat, etc. So reflexes, they are brought about by some kind of stimulus. But voluntary actions, they are initiated by willing thought. Second, reflexes, many self-protective ones are there due to the environment. So any change in environment, the self-protective actions take place. So mainly the reflexes, they are self-protective. Second, fulfillment of desired goal. Any voluntary action if you are performing, that is to fulfill your goal. You are listening to me, you're sitting here, that is your aim. So to fulfill that, you are sitting here and listening to me. That is voluntary action. Third, commands originate mostly in the spinal cord in case of reflexes, and autonomic nervous system, and a few in the brain as well. So mostly reflexes, they are originating from the spinal cord and autonomic nervous system, and sometimes even through brain. And in case of voluntary actions, commands originate in the brain. Last one, reflexes or involuntary actions, they involve muscles and glands. And in case of voluntary actions, only muscles are involved. So these are differences between the reflexes and the voluntary actions. And please learn them, because last time I had seen differences were given in the first test, and those differences were clearly given in your book, but you could not learn them. So please learn these. Then we were talking about some of the examples of the involuntary actions, and here one more is given, pushing along of the swallowed food through the food canal. When you are eating food, you have chewed the food, automatically, you're not even aware of it, it just swallowed. So that also is an involuntary action. Are you thinking before swallowing? No. So that also is involuntary. And the next one, non-stop beating of heart. Your heart keeps on beating regularly without stopping. That is also not under the control of your will. Shivali ma'am, they are not sitting on their seats. They have changed seats.
Why?
Yes.
Who told you to change the seat?
Many are there.
Better wherever your name is there, sit on that bench only.
Then all involuntary actions or reflexes are initiated by some kind of sensory stimulation, resulting in either a muscular action or a glandular secretion. So either muscular action is performed or the glands, they give out the secretion.
If tomorrow onwards you will change the seat, I will tell all the teachers deduct your 10 marks from next exam.
Then next is types of reflexes. We are going to do the types of reflexes. Two types of reflexes are there, natural and conditioned or the acquired ones, which we acquire during our lifetime. And first one, the natural reflexes, they are inborn in us. They are there in us by birth. We do not experience them or learn them in our lifetime. They are in them by birth. So he says natural or inborn reflex is one in which no previous experience or learning is required, and these reflexes are inborn, that is inherited from the parents. For example, blinking, coughing, sneezing, these are all protective responses or reflexes which are in us by birth. So we need not learn how to sneeze or when to sneeze, automatically it will happen. And next is salivation. When we eat food, as soon as we put the food in our mouth, the saliva is secreted. Otherwise also, saliva is secreted without putting of food also sometimes. That also is a reflex. You just hear the name of a dish, that is conditioned reflex. So we'll talk about there. I'm talking about natural reflex. When we are eating food, at that time, saliva is secreted automatically. So it is a natural reflex. Then swallowing and peristalsis. You remember what is peristalsis? Yes, that is the rhythmic contraction and relaxation of the walls of our gut to push the food down. And so peristalsis, all these are the ones to provide functional efficiency. Next we come over to the conditioned reflex. This is the one which we develop during our lifetime due to experience or learning. For example, what you experience simply at the sight or by the smell of familiar, tasty food, resulting in watering or salivation of your mouth. And this means that if you have not eaten that food earlier, the response would not occur. See, if you have eaten some food or some dish and you like it very much, even when its name is mentioned to you, the saliva is secreted because you remember the taste and you feel like eating it, and the saliva is secreted. So that is a conditioned reflex. This you have learned. You had tasted that food and you liked the taste, that is why saliva is secreted. So such responses or such reflexes are called conditioned reflexes, which you learn or experience during your lifetime, and then next time it is performed. Suppose you are driving and the red light comes. Automatically you are pressing the brake. That also you have learnt, that when red light is going to be there, we have to stop. Otherwise we meet with an accident or the policeman will approach us. So such reflexes are conditioned reflexes. Okay? Then he says salivation can occur as natural reflex also. In the earlier one also we had mentioned salivation. There it was natural. When we were swallowing food or when the food was put in our mouth, automatically saliva is secreted. And saliva starts flowing down when you chew or eat food. But in the above example of salivation, the sight or the smell of food was enough for the response, and there your brain actually remembered the taste of the food and worked in an unconscious way. Such conditioned reflexes are not inborn and are thus called acquired reflexes. They are not in you by birth, but you acquire them or you learn them during your lifetime. Then a conditioned reflex is an involuntary, spontaneous, automatic response brought about due to previous learned experience. So these responses or reflexes are brought about due to learned experiences. There was a scientist called Pavlov, and he performed an experiment on his dog. What he did, that he rang the bell. Dog did not come. Of course, why a dog will come when a bell is rung? But he directed the dog to the bowl of food which was placed there. The dog had the food, went away. Next time again he rang the bell, but the dog did not come. He brought the dog, served the food, the dog ate the food, went away. Now, he repeated this few times. Then what happened? Whenever he used to ring the bell, the dog came running to have the food. And then what he did? He removed that bowl of food from there and he rang the bell. The dog came running and the saliva was just pouring out of his mouth. Why? He had learnt that whenever the bell will be rung, I will be served with the food. And he was ready to eat and the saliva started falling from the dog's mouth. So, this way he performed an experiment to show the conditioned reflex. So, you'll go through it. I've told you it's written the same. Now we even have, you all must have seen that in circus and all, what happens? The trainer hits the hunter on the table and the animal jumps through a ring which is set on fire. Which animal will jump through fire? No one. All want to be safe. But that animal was trained in such a way. In the beginning, when he was trained, it never used to jump through that ring set on fire. But he was given one nice hunter. And out of fear of that beating, it used to jump. And then it learned that whenever this hunter is beaten on the table, I should jump through the ring, otherwise this hunter will come on my back. So, this also is conditioned reflex. So, the animals in the circus, they are trained in this way. Because they know, trainers know, conditioned reflex will play a role. And there are so many conditioned reflexes in your daily life you experience. Now, of course, you are grown up and you all know Madam won't punish if we don't stand up and wish. You go to lower classes. You hardly cross the line of that class to enter in. All students stand up and say good morning. Why? Because in the nursery, when they came, of course, for a few days they cry. And when they stop crying, then the teachers start teaching them and they say, okay, stand up and say good morning. One or two who are interested or who are listening to the teacher or who like the teacher, stand up and wish. Next day, few more. And the number goes on increasing. And still there are some who won't get up. Then the teacher gives or scolds. Then they come to know, okay, whenever she enters the class, we have to stand up and wish. That is conditioned reflex. Then automatically that reflex is there, and whenever the teacher comes, they all stand up and wish. So this is conditioned reflex. In the beginning, you all must have seen when you were small, your mother used to tie laces for you. Then she says, no, stop it. You are grown up. You have to do yourself. She taught you how to tie. And still you were not able to. You just wrapped it around your leg and tied a knot. Then when you grow up, you are conscious that if someone will see like this, will laugh at me. So you tried to learn. Now, do you look at the laces while tying them? No. That also is conditioned reflex. And the girls must have noticed this, that their mothers, they are knitting the sweater while watching the TV. And if they are given the needles, they will do like this, and then also it won't work out. They have developed that reflex or learned. That also is conditioned reflex. The musicians, they play the musical instruments without looking at sa re ga ma. And if we were to play, we will search, see, yes, it's coming or not, it's correct or not. For them, automatic. Your computer keys, if I were to sit, I would first search for A, B, Y. I'm not using it much. You all are using, you'll find it out. All these are examples of conditioned reflexes. Okay? I'm telling you so many because sometimes you may get in the exam the one which is not mentioned here. So you can reason out for yourself that this is the answer. Okay? So some common reflexes in human, natural ones, knee jerk. You all are sitting, someone all of a sudden comes and hits on your knee. You just straighten your leg. That is knee jerk. Okay? This is natural reflex. Then quick closing of eyelids. If suddenly some object you see approaching towards your eyes, you close your eyelids. Next, withdrawal of hand or any part of the body when suddenly pricked. If any one of your friends sitting at the back just even touches very slightly something on your neck, you immediately do like this and you look at the back. That also is natural reflex. Then the peristaltic reflexes, that is the food chime, is propelled through the small intestine by the peristaltic waves, and when a portion of the intestine becomes distended with chime, the stretching of the intestinal wall becomes stimulus for the next part, and it contracts, pushing the food along is the response. So that peristaltic movement of the walls of intestine is also a natural reflex. Then coughing reflex. When you are eating, mostly when you are small, you are told by mothers, don't laugh, don't talk while eating. Why? Because if you are laughing or talking, sometimes all of a sudden, even a small speck of food enters the windpipe, that results in coughing. You cough very badly. Why you cough? You're forcibly pushing that speck of food out. That is a natural reflex. Then sneezing reflex. When any irritant enters your nose, any small dust particle also if enters your nose, you sneeze to push it out forcibly. Then examples of the conditioned reflexes. Most of our daily habits and acts are conditioned reflexes. Like seeing the teacher entering the classroom, you stand up. Second, you tie your shoelaces while talking and not knowing whether you are first putting the right lace over the left or vice versa. Then playing on musical instruments, using keys of the keyboard while working on the computer, giving a hand signal to your right automatically when you are turning your cycle or car to the right, then applying brakes in your vehicle if someone suddenly comes in front. All these are conditioned reflexes. And here they have given differences between natural reflexes and conditioned reflexes. Again, very important. You can get any one of these differences. So, natural reflex, it is inborn, requiring no previous experience. But conditioned one, it is developed by experience or learning. Second, the natural reflex directly is related to the stimulus, but the conditioned one, it is brought about by the condition totally different from the direct initial stimulus. If you take the case of that animal who was trained, he was given the hunter on its back. But then the stimulus was, the hunter was beaten on the table. So stimulus is entirely different from the first one. Third, similar in all humans. Natural reflexes are similar in all humans or similar among all individuals of any one species. If anything, you are observing or moving towards your eye, you tightly close your eyelids. This is natural in all. Have you ever experienced when you are traveling and you know those poles are placed where means it's an indication that heavy vehicles can't pass through that way? Have you seen? The pole is placed horizontally. And if you are sitting in the car, what happens? You are also bending your neck, sitting in the car, thinking you will bang against it. Yes. Next is the third one, for conditioned reflex, differs in different individuals, subject to learning and experience. Maybe you bend your neck down and the other one who is driving the car does not. If you are sitting in the bus, you will never see the bus driver bending his neck because it is his daily experience. He knows he is not going to bang against that pole. So, these are the differences between the two. Now, next topic is the nervous pathway in reflexes. What is the pathway of reflex? Of course, the pathway of reflex should be very short so that it is performed efficiently. Suppose you happen to touch an electric wire and immediately if you don't withdraw your hand, you will be dead. So for that reason, it should be very quick and the path should be very short. That is why the message or the impulse goes to the spinal cord and returns back to the organ to perform action. And this pathway of reflex is known as reflex arc. Now he says a reflex action must be quick to have value. Therefore, the pathway for receiving and sending information must be short. In a simple reflex, impulses are not conducted up and down the spinal cord, but leave at the same level at which they enter. When it involves two neurons, these are a dorsal, that is sensory neuron, located in the dorsal root, and a ventral motor neuron located in the ventral part of the gray matter of spinal cord and its fibers in the ventral root. And the impulse from the sense receptors is received through the sensory fibers of the dorsal root of the spinal nerve, and as it reaches the motor neuron in the spinal cord, a response impulse is immediately flashed like a reflection through the same spinal nerve to the effector muscle to react. If you all remember, last time I had drawn the diagram of spinal cord. Very quickly and roughly again I will do for you. Yes? Who's talking? this first case, he did not mention about intermediate neuron, but I am drawing because next further he will mention. This one is the sensory one. Sensory fiber coming from the sense organ enters the spinal cord. Here itself decision takes place and the impulse is carried by the motor fiber to the gland or muscles to perform action. So this is the pathway, and sometimes arrows are shown in the diagram, or they will ask you to draw the arrows. They will ask you, mostly this diagram is very important, again I am telling you, very important. If you pick up your 10 years, you will see at least 5 to 6 years this question is asked. They'll give you the diagram of the spinal cord, ask you to label it. What is the function of the sensory fiber? What is the function of motor fiber? And gray matter and white matter, they will ask you where it is. And can you tell me what is the difference between the presence of gray matter and white matter in case of brain and spinal cord? Anyone? I told you that day. In case of brain, gray matter is outside, white matter is inside. In case of spinal cord, gray matter is inside, white matter is outside. And this difference also you will find. It's very easy, but it does come sometime. So, this is the pathway. Have you all understood? Next, sometimes the third neuron, that is intermediate or connecting or association neuron or relay neuron. This one is intermediate neuron, connecting the sensory neuron and the motor neuron, and is included in the reflex arc lying between the sensory fiber and the motor neuron inside the spinal cord. And after the instant response, the sensation is also carried to the brain via the intermediate or interconnecting longitudinal nerve fibers in the spinal cord. Sometimes the impulse is even carried, or after the action is over, even after condition. That is why we remember. The impulse is carried to the brain and it is fed there. Okay, when red light comes, please, the brake has to be pressed. That was learnt, na? So this is even fed in the brain. But after the reflex action is over, during the reflex action, message is sent to the brain and then the answer comes from the brain, it will take long time. Reflex arc. It is the shortest route that can be taken by an impulse from a receptor to an effector. And the path of the reflex arc they have shown you here with the help of the arrows, and this also is sometimes asked. They may give you these terms, one or two may be missing in between, and they will ask you to complete it. Same way the next one, which is shown with the help of the circles and the rectangle, that stimulus, then it goes to receptor, sensory neuron, brain or spinal cord, then motor neuron, effector, and the response. And this is even very, very important from the point of view of that question in section A. You are asked, arrange the following terms in sequence. You all have, remember, in case of absorption I had given you, you had to arrange them in a sequence. Here also these terms can be mentioned and you have to arrange them in sequence. So learn this order. Then the various terms or the components associated with the reflex arc are explained here. receptor. It is the group of specialized epithelial cells in contact with the terminal ending of the nerve cells which respond to the stimulus. So they are just a group of special type of epithelial cells, and they are in contact with the terminal ending of the nerve cells. And nerve cells are the ones which respond to the stimulus and convert it into a sensory neuron, into an impulse in the sensory neuron. Then sensory neuron, it is the neuron in the spinal cord that receives the nerve impulse through its axon, which is in contact with the receptor cells. So it receives the impulse, the sensory neuron, and sends it to the spinal cord. Then central nervous system, that is the brain and the spinal cord only. And it is the region in the spinal cord or brain where incoming sensory impulse generate an outgoing motor impulse. There actually in the brain, when the impulse reaches the brain, the decision is taken what action has to be performed. And then that message or impulse is sent through the motor neuron to the organ to perform action. Motor neuron, it carries impulses generated by the association neuron in the central nervous system to the effector organ. And effector organs are these glands or the muscles. It is an organ that responds to the motor nerve impulse. So these are certain definitions. Now, you all must have experienced sometimes at night when it is dark, you are walking and you happen to step on a coiled rope. You jump and you run away, thinking snake is there. Because it is dark, you think you have stepped on a snake. And you jump and you run away. In that case, all your body muscles, they are performing action. Such reflexes are called complex reflexes. Okay? So it says, complex reflex action involves neurons at different levels of the spinal cord. While walking in the dark on a road, if you happen to step on a coiled piece of rope, you suddenly jump aside with the fear of suspected snake. Virtually all the skeletal muscles are involved in this reflex. So this is the lesson. Have you all understood? Arjun, just put it off. Yes? Any question you want to ask?